cameras can't work. Rick has some art stuff everywhere.
Oh, sick. Has money spoiled me?
Do you have money, Barry?
Oh, that.
Let's not be prejudiced about money. Some of my best friends
Are wealthy. Hannibal, play something while we're waiting to help distract Jack.
Well, you catch me tuned. What shall it be?
Oh, surprise us.
How about a gypsy Sassarda?
Oh, not gypsy music. It frightens me.
Frightens you?
Terrifies me. Why, I was stolen by gypsies as a child and rescued, just as they were about to dye my skin with walnut juice. Well, I was.
Go ahead, Hannibal.
I wonder if she likes music. Maybe she'll play an instrument herself. The harp. Oh, I hope she plays the harp. I'm sorry, Hannibal. Go ahead. I was raised on the harp, you know. My father played like an angel.
Jeff, what are you doing?
There's a book on the shelf I want. I'm sorry, Hannibal.
Barry, could you get the book for Jeff so we can listen to Hannibal?
Just a moment. I'll get a chair.
Never mind, Perry, I can get it.
No, Jeffrey. Climbing on chairs is women's work. Men have mountains. Which book did you want?
The Lifespan of the Age.
People give the strangest books to this library and never could get into the forbidden tobacco.
Do you know it's amazing what standing above people does? Why, I feel smarter than anyone else in the whole world.
It's the yellow one.
Books are in my blood. My mother invented the filing system of the New York Library. She was queen of the cross index.
I'll get just book, Fairy.
No, Hannibal. Musicians shouldn't work.
Be careful, Barry. Don't get dust in your eyes.
Would you rather have animal husbandry? I can reach that.
No, this time it has to be the Lifespan of the Age.
Here, goose it out with this. Lights! Turn the lights back on!
Don't let me fall!
Please turn the lights back on!
Hannibal, get to the switch before someone's hurt.
It looks like Mrs. Patty's back.
Lights, lights, lights!
Mrs. Patty, please, let us keep the lights on. Some night you're going to turn the lights out at the wrong time and hurt somebody. Then you'll be sorry. I do wish you'd chosen something else to give up for Lent.
It's not fair to make the rest of us suffer. Get you to heaven, Mrs. Patty.
Other people like electricity.
Now you sit at your easel like a good girl and leave the lights alone.
I must say, Miss Willie, you startled us. We thought you were still in the front office.
For the love of Pete, Barry, what are you up to?
I was getting a book down for Jeffrey.
With a violin bow.
Well, I couldn't quite reach it.
I didn't mean to cause all this commotion. Never mind, just forget it.
No, Jeffrey, I'll get the book for you. Everybody watch his own head. Timber! There you are, Jeffrey. You may take the bow, Miss Willie. You may take my hand, Hannibal.
Barry, the next time someone wants something from the top, call me. When the whole shelf might have fallen on you.
Oh, whoever heard of being hurt by good books?
Enough of them, my darling, and we hate for that to happen.
I hate everything in the world, but most of all, I hate cold cream, hot dogs, codfish, catfish, sheep dip, sawdust, subway, sewers, skewers, buttermilk, caterpillars, friction, fraction, pins, pans, pounds, policemen, and electricity.
Do we have to wait much longer, Miss Willie? What's your like, Mrs. Willie?
I don't know. Barry, put the Partizzi board away.
Is she young or old, Miss Willie?
I haven't seen her. All I know is that her name is Mrs. Savage, and she gets the blue room.
Oh, I hope she isn't beautiful. Competition simply exhausts me.
Well, Bingo, you tied that one in a hurry.
Miss Willie, don't call me that, please. It's a pet name my wife uses.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot.
And I wish you wouldn't single me out to kiss.
You are the handsomest.
What would my wife think if she came in and saw a strange woman kissing me? She'd explode.
She would if I know her.
Will you please try to remember?
I'll try. Forgive me.
Ting-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
Hello? Yes, Dr. Emmett. Right away.
Hannibal, put that board away. Let's not clutter the place, darlings. Let's make a good first impression.
Will we meet her now?
I don't know.
We haven't had anyone exciting here since the magician's wife, and she was all nerves from being sawed in half so much. Now, what was her name?
Something hyphenated.
Oh, yes, but she had color. My relations are all so drab. My parents were albinos, you know.
Oh, Fairy, you shouldn't invent such things.
Well, they were emotional albinos.
Oh, Fairy, don't peek. It's so degrading to get on your knees.
Well, you get on your knees to pray, don't you? Then I'll say a prayer. Dear God, please let me see something.
See anything?
Yes, I do. God was quick.
What do you see?
People coming out of Dr. Emmett's office.
Oh.
1, 2, 3 strange people, and Miss Willie. They're coming in here. Let's go into the hall and eavesdrop.
Is that ethical, Jeff?
Oh, you know they'll send us out anyway.
We could call it espionage.
Well, this is the last time I'm going to be a part of Sneaky. Kneeling simply ruins my nylons.
Come, Mrs. Patty. We're going to spy.
I'll guard the next switch. It's through to that guest dinner in a dark room.
Well, I mustn't get excited, or I'll get hiccups and betray us.
Dr. Emmett will be with you in a moment.
Please tell her that if there's nothing more, we'd like to get started back.
Yes, Senator. There are cigarettes and magazines on the table. Please, make yourself at home.
Well, Claudia, what do you think of it now? Are you reassured?
Somewhat. It certainly doesn't look like an institution.
Not at all. Mother will be contented and happy here. I'm sure. It's a charming place.
I just hope we haven't made a mistake, Lily Bell.
Darling, the only mistake we made was in not taking steps sooner.
I don't like to be thought insensitive, but it might have been wiser to have kept her at home with an attendant.
That would have been disastrous.
You're hard.
Someone has to be practical.
No, you're callous. You've married too many foreigners.
Samuel, let's please not fight about this. We've done what had to be done.
Lily Bell is right. This is civilized behavior.
I'm sorry to have delayed you. I was anxious to have Dr. Johnson question your mother.
This is quite a place you have here, Doctor. It's been a great relief to us to have found it so cheerful.
But then we were assured that your place had the best that money could buy.
We hope to offer the best that experience can provide.
One thing I meant to ask you, Doctor. Will Mother be exposed to any danger here?
Not at all. The guests in this wing are in their final stage of treatment. They're extremely kind and cooperative. Most of them on the surface would seem quite as normal as yourself, Senator.
You don't say.
Can you tell me, was this indifference to money something recent?
I wouldn't say so.
Mother's always given money to, well, foolish causes.
Would you mind being more specific?
Well, there was an Italian farmer who wanted a box of soil from Italy.
Just dirt.
Mother spent over $2,000 just to get it for him.
And there was that flower peddler who wanted a tombstone for his horse.
He got it.
After Father died, this obsession got progressively worse. Last summer, she chartered a ship to send 1,000 school children around the world.
Why?
She said they ought to go around the world while there was still a world around.
We stopped her just as she was on the verge of setting up this fun thing illegally.
With the board of directors.
With a fantastic board of directors. Not a banker, a bishop, or lawyer among them.
Whom did she choose?
A postman, a gardener, a veterinarian, and herself.
Can you tell me, has this behavior run in your mother's family?
Frankly, I don't know.
You see, Father remarried when we were children. She's not actually our mother.
But it has never made any difference in our feeling towards her.
Well, I can't be much help of you until I've had time to observe her conduct here.
You're the doctor.
And we know she'll be happy in such a charming place.
I wouldn't mind staying here myself.
This is no place to laugh, Samuel.
But we encourage laughter here. We think it healthy.
You do?
Definitely. For as Byron says, and if I laugh at any mortal thing, 'tis that I may not weep.
Of course, of course.
Yes, Miss Willie?
I beg your pardon, Dr. Emmett, but Dr. Johnson will be able to complete Mrs. Savage's files for the moment.
Why not?
He finds her a little uncooperative.
Would you bring her in here, please?
Yes, doctor.
I'll have a talk with Dr. Johnson while you're saying goodbye to your mother.
Oh, please don't go, Doctor.
Please, doctor.
Doctor, we prefer you stay. I think the shorter we make this, the better for all concerned.
She's vindictive.
For some reason, she holds me responsible.
You see, we'll have to give her a little more time to get over her resentment.
Will you come in here, please, Mrs. Savage?
Won't you have a seat, Mrs. Savage?
We waited to say goodbye to you, Mother.
I do not like thee, Lilybell. The reason why, I cannot tell. But this I know, and know full well. I do not like thee, Lilybell.
She's been chanting that over and over, all the way down here.
Wouldn't you like to say goodbye to your children, Mrs. Savage? They'd like to say goodbye to you, Mrs. Savage.
Oh, the fireflies are out. How lovely. What makes the fireflies light up, Doctor? Are they mating?
I really couldn't say.
Well, I thought you'd know. Isn't this a bug house?
This is the cloisters. This is to be your home. I am Dr. Emmett.
Wouldn't it be fascinating if human beings glowed like fireflies while they were mating? Do you light up when you're mating, Lilybell? Lord knows you're flighty.
Might as well go, Claudia. She's going to be unpleasant again.
Surely, Mother, you're not going to let us depart in an atmosphere of bitterness.
50 needles, and 50 pins, and 50 dirty Republicans.
She's determined to take the wrong attitude again.
It's futile.
Well, time will take care of this.
I'll send more of her clothes down later, Doctor. We couldn't pack with one grip under the circumstances.
Sunday is Visitor's Day, if you care to bring them by then.
My sister's returning to Paris next week, but we'll make arrangements. Good night, Mother.
If you need anything, Mrs. Savage, Miss Wilhelmina will take care of you.
We have a lovely garden out there. You'll be able to see it in the morning. When I was a child, we always said 30 needles and 30 pins. You've added 20 more dirty Republicans.
It's a fault of mine. Exaggeration. Oh, it's stupid of me to try to irritate them like this. I only irritate myself. Well, I suppose it has to be exasperating now to be funny later.
Oh, I notice it's missing an eye. It must have fell out in the office. I'll look as soon as they go.
Oh, don't bother. It fell at last fall at the opera. I'd have found it, but the usher was so nasty about my lighting matches during the magic fire music. You do know what this is, don't you?
How'd you tell me?
It's a teddy bear. Surely you've seen one before.
Not that big.
Do you know what I do with it?
I couldn't possibly guess.
I sleep with it.
Do you?
Yes, I do, you! You're not going to talk to me as if I were an imbecile too, are you?
Here, we mustn't be hostile.
Of course, you haven't harmed me. Would you care to know why I sleep with it?
If you care to tell me.
I don't care, and I'll tell you. I get lonely. I'm too old to have a lover, and too fastidious to sleep with a cat.
Then by all means, you may take it to bed with you here. Would you like to take off your hat?
Well, I suppose if I'm going to be spending the rest of my life here, I may as well.
It's a mighty saucy hat.
A 10-cent piece of felt and 3 chicken feathers. Why economy should be so expensive, I don't know. It cost $85.
Oh, it takes imagination.
And the blood of pirates. Oh, but I wanted it. I wanted a hat like this since I was 16. For all the good it does me now. Well, I won't be needing a hat here. Maybe you could use it for something. I'm not sure for what.
Oh, no. You better keep it. You may need it.
Oh, dear. My hair looks like the matted end of a coconut.
Oh, I don't think so. It's a heavenly color.
You should have seen it last year. It was bright red. Then, just to be different, I dyed it black with a white streak in the middle. I looked like nothing so much as a skunk. So finally I gave up and just tinted it blue. It goes with everything.
It'll certainly go with your room. Did you bring a suitcase?
Well, my daughter did. I wasn't consulted.
Well, I'll get it and take you up. You'll have plenty of time to explore your surroundings in the morning. Well, you can wait here.
Alone?
Of course.
No handcuffs.
I would. No, we have the honor system.
Honor system indeed.
Hello.
Miss Willie says the bars are only there to keep the world outside. Corny, isn't it? Oh. It's a lion! Oh, fairy.
Oh, the poor thing's quite harmless.
It won't bite?
It won't shed, lay eggs, or bark. And to the best of my knowledge, it's unvexed by sex. It couldn't be less trouble.
Well, in that case, any friend of yours is a friend of mine. Perhaps we should introduce ourselves. You must be Mrs. Savage. I'm Florence Williams.
How do you do?
We've been waiting for you all afternoon. We're so glad you're here with us. May I introduce Fairy May? Say you love me.
But we've just met.
Oh, you don't have to mean it. I just love it when people say they love me.
Well, I'm sure everyone loves you.
See, I told you she wouldn't be spoiled. Welcome to the Cloisters, Climate Fest by the government test.
Thank you.
And this is Hannibal. Oh, and this is our Mrs. Patty.
How do you do, Mrs. Patty?
I hate everything in the world, but most of all, I hate lightning, skunk, cabbage, custard, mustard, spiders, blisters, girdles, mice, thieves, keys, ragweed, chloroform, rhubarb, barnacles, bats, broken glass, eels, crumbs, tombstones, gallstones, salt, and thunder.
Why don't you like rhubarb?
Mrs. Patty won't answer you, Mrs. Savage. She'll only name the things she hates.
Sweet but stubborn.
She stopped talking about 20 years ago.
Why?
She got mad.
Her husband told her to shut up.
And she did.
She gave up conversation for life.
But she's only giving up electricity for Lent.
Mrs. Patty, you're a woman of wisdom. There's only one thing wiser than saying very little and not saying nothing at all. Would you like to hold it?
I think she likes you.
I think I like her too.
Oh, you haven't met Jeff. Come here, Jeff.
Well, please excuse my left hand.
Oh, certainly. Is it a toothache?
No, Jeff's face is scarred and he likes to spare people.
Well, he doesn't need to spare me. I have to look at myself every morning.
Dr. Emmett refuses to let me wear a bandage.
Well, we have to humor our doctors once in a while.
And now you have met everyone. We're a small group in this wing, and we hope you find us comfortable to be with.
But she hasn't met everyone. She hasn't met the Holy Terror.
Oh, how stupid of me.
Where is he, Florence?
Well, he was here just a minute ago.
John Thomas.
I think he went under the hall.
Oh, well, thank you. John Thomas. You won't hurt her, will you?
Gracious, why should I?
You won't object, will you?
What is John Thomas?
Her son. What did you think?
Here?
Oh, yes. He was born here. Well, I can't see. Oh, there he is, asleep on the floor. My husband always warned me I'd be a bad mother. Mrs. Savage, this is my son. You like children, don't you?
Everyone's but my own. How old is he?
5.
Oh, he's big for 5 months.
Oh, no, 5 years.
No, I meant years.
Well, you must excuse me. He has the measles and I must put him to bed. Oh, I hope you won't catch them. Please excuse me.
That was exceedingly kind of you, Mrs. Savage, not to notice anything wrong.
Oh, yes, there wasn't time to explain. But you were like lightning.
Poor Florence isn't well. We pretend for her sake. We hope you will too.
I will.
I think you should understand right off, Mrs. Savage, that except for Florence, the rest of us are free to leave here anytime we wish.
But we don't want to go, because there's no better place to go.
You're a very lucky woman to be accepted here, if I do say so myself. And I do.
Oh, do be quiet.
Tyrant.
What is that noise?
That rude noise is the signal for us to go to our rooms.
It's the evil of the machine age. Perfect pistons and no manners.
Well, ours is not the reason why. I wonder why no one ever quotes the first line. It's someone blundered.
Well, good night.
I didn't hear you. We don't say that around here. It means there's no more.
No more of what?
Oh, no more of so much.
Don't let Jeff's manner disturb you, Mrs. Savage. His plane was shot down during the war in flames. He hasn't quite recovered yet.
Was his face badly burned?
Oh, not at all. He bailed out, but he was the only one. He lost his crew. His scar goes deeper than what we can see.
I think you should understand, Mrs. Savage, that Hannibal and I are the only guests here free to leave. But we couldn't say that in front of the others. We saved their pride. Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Patty. I didn't mean you anyhow. Oh, I could tear my tongue out. I have to go apologize, or she'll sulk.
Fairy has the gift of the good for saying the wrong thing.
Well, I should think it would take a bit of doing to apologize to someone who doesn't talk and sulks anyhow.
Oh, you'll get used to Mrs. Patty. Just treat her like a clock. Look at her to see how the day goes, but don't expect an answer. She's happy at her easel.
Oh, is she an artist?
I don't know whether she's an artist or not, but she paints.
Does she paint portraits?
Seascapes, which is rather odd, since she's never seen the ocean.
Oh, I forgot to warn you. If you go to your room, don't go to sleep. Whatever you do, don't go to sleep.
What did she mean about not sleeping?
Oh, none of us sleep, sir.
Well, then where do you sleep?
We don't. Oh, we all go to our rooms. We've agreed to that in principle. But we don't sleep. You see, when you go to sleep, today ends. And when today ends, tomorrow begins. Today we're safe. Tomorrow we may not be. You won't catch us sleeping. Could anything be simpler?
Not much.
Today is the only certainty.
Hannibal, why aren't you in your room? I heard the buzzer.
I am, in spirit, and everyone says it's spirit that counts. Remember, fight the night.
Did they all come in to meet you?
Well, there's Mrs. Patty, and 4 others who have no business being here at their age.
I quite agree.
Do you believe I belong here?
We're understaffed here, Mrs. Savage. I'm kept too busy to have any opinions of my own.
I want to know what they told you about me.
Was there anything to tell?
Did they mention my memorial fund?
Not to me.
Well, they probably told you that my husband's death affected my reason.
That would be understandable.
But untrue.
Why? Weren't you happy with your husband, Mrs. Savage?
Well, I married Jonathan when I was 16. I loved him from the moment I met him until the moment he died. Do you know what that meant?
I think so.
Well, I don't think you do. It meant that my only aim in life was to make him happy, to want what he wanted, to anticipate what would please him. And that meant that all the foolish things that I'd ever wanted had to be forgotten.
What had you always wanted, Mrs. Savage?
Things that would have shocked poor Jonathan.
Like dyeing your hair blue.
That. And studying French. And ballet dancing. And people. As a young girl, I was sure I could have been a great actress. So, with no responsibilities and time running out, I decided I'd be one.
Don't you think you waited a little too long, Mrs. Savage?
I certainly do. Had I been a fool in my youth, no one would have noticed it in my old age.
Oh, I don't think of you as old, Mrs. Savage.
Well, having kicked over the traces myself, and learning once again the importance of unimportant things, I decided that I'd help other people have the foolish things that they'd always wanted.
And how are you going to do that, Mrs. Savage?
By establishing the Jonathan Savage Memorial Fund, a foundation for giving away money to people who need it. And that insane idea has brought me here.
Well, I hope you won't find it too unpleasant here. Would you like to go up to your room now?
Well, at least I learned one thing from my French lessons.
What's that?
What I am. I'm a Mort Canard. Dead duck. I think.
It's not as bad as that.
Oh, yes, it is. One day you'll realize that a great injustice was done me. You'll know that I was always quite sane. But here I am. And here they'll try to keep me. With my few foolish years taken from me. If people would walk around the edges of the carpet once in a while, it would save wearing it in the middle.
You could be in the concert field, Hannibal, if you worked at it.
Oh, you're so right, Jeff. I simply surrender to it. Oh, Mrs. Savage, please come in.
I trust you had a pleasant, sleepless morning?
Lovely, thank you. Not a wink.
Oh, you just missed Hannibal's recital.
Oh, no, I heard it. As a matter of fact, it's what brought me out of my room.
You wouldn't believe it, but Hannibal only picked the violin up a year ago.
Now, what makes you think I wouldn't believe that? Was it something you composed yourself, Hannibal?
Bach, with variations of my own.
Mathematics lost was certainly our game.
No, I don't quite follow that, Fairy.
Fairy knows I used to be a statistician.
Oh, thank you. Now I'm straight.
Ask him to do a fraction for you.
I'm afraid I wouldn't know whether he was right or not.
My last position was the government. It was with the government charting trends. I was supposed to keep my finger on the pulse of the public and my ear to the ground.
A rather vulnerable position, was it not?
Very. I was fired and replaced by an electronic calculator.
Well, then I should think you would hate electricity, too.
Oh, not really. But I did want to make money with my brains. So I spent 2 years trying to think of something that could be made for a dime, sold for $1, and was habit forming. I'm afraid my education was wasted.
I'm going to send John Thomas to Princeton. Our boys aren't very bright, but they're such gentlemen. May I ask you a personal question, Mrs. Savage?
You're the only ones worth asking.
Oh, a little bird told us that you once were as an actress. We're dying with curiosity. Is it true?
Oh, that. Well, I guess if being on stage makes you an actress, then it's true.
Miss Lily, she's the little bird Florence mentioned, said you had been on New York stage.
Oh, I wonder if we've ever seen you.
Not unless you were quick. Actually, I was only in 2 plays. The first was Macbeth.
Oh, I adore Macbeth. All that blood. Well, I once sent a pint of my blood to Red Cross once, but they sent it back.
I should think you'd be a novel to translate Macbeth, Mrs. Savage.
I can't tell you how much I agree with you, but they only cast me as a witch.
But you're a perfect witch.
Thank you, dear.
Speak some witch talk for us.
I'm afraid I didn't have any lines. If I had, it would have cost me twice as much.
Why did it cost you anything?
I backed the show. If I hadn't have put up the money, I wouldn't have even been able to play the mute witch.
Was it very expensive?
Extremely, but it was worth it.
What a pity. Weren't you discouraged?
Bitterly. But being by nature is optimistic. So, I decided I'd write a play myself and star in it.
You wrote a play?
Indeed I did, with a courage born of ignorance and a plot out of wedlock.
What part did you play then?
Naturally, the lead. Not Guilty, starring Ethel P. Savage.
What was the play about?
It was about a mother who murdered a man, and she was defended by a young woman lawyer who turned out to be her daughter. I had bright red hair, and I dyed my daughter's arms every night and 2 matinees a week, just as the curtain came down and the jury whispered, "Not guilty." Oh, I've never had a better time in my entire life.
I gather the notices were good that time.
Well, they were sincere, but it didn't make any difference.
What did they say?
Well, the New York Times said that my play set the theater back 50 years, which it couldn't possibly because I stole the plot from Madam X, which is only 40 years old.
Didn't you think they'd know?
Oh, but the Wall Street Journal was wonderful. It said I brought something new to the theater.
Money? Oh, Fairy, money isn't new.
Well, what else did the Wall Street say?
Well, it said I had a tenacious mediocrity unhampered by taste.
That wasn't good.
Oh, it was perfect. In our ads, we simply said tenacious and unhampered.
And you ran a year?
Oh, we'd have been running yet if my daughter hadn't come home and stopped me. Oh, I know I was bad and audiences only came to laugh at me, but we both had a good time. What more could you ask? I do miss it. Oh well, my turn is coming.
I don't think that was very nice of your daughter. Oh, don't do it. Please don't. Oh, Fairy, what's wrong? She's going to read the newspaper.
Oh, no, Mrs. Savage, don't.
I wouldn't do that if I were you, Mrs. Savage.
It will only make you unhappy.
My dear people, there is something important that I need to know in the paper. I've only been waiting for it to happen.
But we don't know what it says in the paper.
Then why are you trying to keep me from seeing it?
We have an agreement.
We don't read the newspapers until they're at least a month old.
We find we're much happier when we wait.
What are you waiting for?
Why, naturally, we're waiting for... What are we waiting for, Hannibal?
Perspective.
Peace of mind.
Security.
We believe it's better to read about unpleasant things a month after they've happened.
It's reassuring to know that they're over, and nothing can be done about it.
You're very kind. But I've made my bed and I want to know who's in it.
We're only trying to help you. Yes.
Disaster is easier to digest when it's aged a little.
Dear people, there's something important in the paper that I need to know now, not next month.
All right. We can't prevent Mrs. Savage from reading the paper if she insists. We don't know her well enough to be rude.
Florence is right.
But if you read anything unpleasant, don't tell us about it.
No.
No. If there's trouble in the world, it sure won't help us to know about it.
This is yesterday's paper. I want today's paper.
It isn't here yet.
When does it come?
I don't know.
Do you have a radio?
Yeah, right over there.
Oh. Why didn't any of you mention there was a radio?
Because you didn't ask.
This set doesn't light up. Is there something wrong with it?
Oh, I don't think so. Of course, it hasn't got any radio tubes.
It hasn't got any what?
Tubes. Miss Patty steals them. She
Nope.
hates electricity, you know.
No one knows where she hides them.
Why didn't you tell me the set had no tubes?
Because you didn't ask.
How high is that wall?
Much too high.
Easily 10 chairs high.
And I suppose no one leaves that great gate open?
Oh, Miss Savage, don't look beyond the garden. There may be a better place out there somewhere. But if you leave here to find it, you may never find it and lose what you already have.
You'll like it here after a while.
Except in January. That's when the rooms get cold.
We like you already.
Well, it's not that I don't find you enchanting. But you...
But we what? Oh, don't say anything mean. Oh, do be quiet. We have to go, Mrs. Savage.
Go where?
It's our garden hour.
See, we each have a little plot where we plant things. You can plant anything you wish. Vegetables or flowers. Last year I planted birdseed just to see what would come up. And what did come up, Barry? Oh, nothing. But it was a rich horticultural experience.
In the center, there's a beautiful evergreen. At Christmas, the thing with lights on it saying, Merry Christmas. Keep out.
Come with us, Mrs. Savage. I can show you my delphiniums.
Oh, no, you go along without me. I have some thinking to do.
But the buzzer buzzed. One has to obey orders.
May I ask why you're doing that, Mrs. Savage?
No, I believe in wearing a carpet out evenly.
Oh, how prudent. I'm going to help you.
But don't you have to garden?
Well, yes, but this is more educational. I'm going to help too. We must all do our share.
But I didn't mean to start a procession.
Come, boys. Many feet make light work.
Why not, Jeffrey? It'll be a refreshing change. Most women lead us in circles.
But, oh, I feel like the Pied Piper.
Jeffrey, you can take the roses. Hannibal can take the thorns. Mrs. Savage can take the buds. And the rest of us will take the leaves. Do you know what we're doing, Miss Willie?
Wearing out the carpet evenly.
Oh, someone told you.
Didn't I hear the buzzer ring garden hour?
No, I didn't hear it. I think it's broken.
Fairy, aren't you ashamed?
Oh, I wish I were dead.
I'm afraid this is my fault, Miss Willie.
I didn't feel like gardening anyhow.
But you've worked so hard with your flowers. Do you want them to die, Florence?
Oh, no! I don't want anything to die! Oh, that's so true. Dear Florence wouldn't hurt a fly. When she sees them in the windowsill, she puts them outside. Flies adore her.
Well, I think we'd all better go out and work in the garden. Fairy, share your seat with Mrs. Savage. Come along now. Aren't you going with them, Mrs. Savage?
No, I would like to speak to you, alone.
All right. What can I do for you?
A great deal. It might be that I could do a great deal for you, too.
Are you about to offer me a bribe, Mrs. Savage?
How did you guess?
Everyone does it first.
Still, my offer is different. I have the money. I'll offer you $20,000 to leave that door unlocked tonight. $30,000.
Don't you like it here, Mrs. Savage?
That is the most irritating answer to a sound business offer. $40,000. You could be free of this place.
But I don't want to be free of it.
$50,000. You could go around the world. You could see Cairo, Mandalay, the South Pacific.
But I've seen Cairo. I've been to Mandalay and the South Pacific.
You have?
I spent 4 years as an army nurse.
Still, I'm sure you could find some use of $50,000.
That's an awful lot of money, Mrs. Savage. Where would you get it?
Oh, never mind that. I can get it. And in the current idiom, 50,000 is peanuts.
Oh, I do believe you. But I'm afraid I'll have to refuse.
Then you leave no choice but to burn the place down.
Oh, you wouldn't do that.
Yes, I would.
But there's too many people here that couldn't help themselves. You think of them first.
If you believe I belong here, then why are you appealing to my reason?
I wasn't. I was appealing to your emotion.
Still, I'll get out of here quickly enough. It's just that bribing you would have been cheaper. Now it'll cost me a couple million at least.
Oh, good morning, Doctor.
Good morning. Is Mrs. Savage downstairs?
She just this minute went out to the garden.
What is her state of mind this morning?
Oh, the usual. She's even offered me a bribe.
What did she offer you?
The highest one yet. 50,000. The poor dear.
Did she sound confident?
Definitely manic. She talked as if she still controlled her own affairs.
Apparently she does. Read this. I've just been talking to her children, and they're about to go out of their minds themselves. The senator is coming down from Washington at once. She'll pick up her sister in New York and her son in Boston. They should be here by tonight.
This is the most amazing story I have ever read. When did they discover it?
I gathered this morning. They wanted me to confine her to a room.
I don't understand it. How could she get away with so much money?
Apparently her husband left the entire estate to her, and she's been secretly selling out control ever since.
But what could she have done with it?
As Judge Sevens says, God knows.
Could she have spent it?
I doubt it. Will you please get her? I'd like to expect her. Tell her what to expect. Stop.
Oh, Mrs. Savage, will you please come up here? Dr. Emmett wants to speak to you.
Are you going to place her in seclusion?
Oh, of course not. And I wish I could place relations in seclusion. They're always much more trouble than the patients.
Do you think she knows what happened to the money?
If she does, she's the only one.
Is there any possibility that there's a method in her madness?
I find it harder every day to say exactly where reason ends and madness begins. But right now I must go on the presumptive evidence of her stepchildren.
Well, from what I hear, her daughter's record in Congress could give any psychiatrist a nasty turn.
It certainly would. And the sensationalism of her other daughter's 6 divorces doesn't speak too highly for her emotional stability either.
Did you want me, Doctor?
Yes. Miss Willie, will you please help Miriam out on the switchboard? She's been deluged by calls all morning.
Yes, Doctor.
Please sit down, Mrs. Savage.
I think I know what you're going to tell me, Doctor.
Do you?
Well, I see you have the morning papers. May I see?
The senator phoned from Washington this morning. We can expect them by tonight.
Indeed we can. Well, I'm not going anywhere.
How could you possibly spend $10 million?
Who said I spent it?
The paper says you did.
Oh, what do they know? I couldn't spend it. It isn't possible. I hid it.
You hid it?
Yes. In nice $500,000 negotiable bonds that can't be traced.
Why?
I don't ask you what you do with your money, Doctor.
I'm sorry this has happened, Mrs. Savage. I'm afraid it's going to prove a great disadvantage to your stay here.
That's because you're a doctor, and doctors never know the value of money.
Would you like to know how long it would take me to earn $10 million, Mrs. Savage?
Oh, excuse me. I came to get my violin. Fairy May wants to hear music while she plants her seeds.
Just a moment, Hannibal. You're a statistician. How long would it take the average doctor to earn $10 million?
Well, he'd have to start before Christ was born and work right up to the burning of Rome, up to the burning of St. John and Savonarola. With time out, of course, from the Norman Conquest, the Crusades, the 100 Years' War, the 30 Years' War, and the 7 Years' War. So he'd have to work double time during the discovery of America up to penicillin and bubblegum. But that's without deducting federal tax, state tax, city tax, local tax, amusement tax, and luxury tax. He'd had 100 years for that.
Thank you, Hannibal. That's quite a lot to be responsible for, Mrs. Savage.
Now what's the good doctor up to?
A bit of emotional blackmail, I suspect. Hannibal, would you guess to look at me that I'm worth $10 million on the hook?
Never. The human body has only 20 cents of calcium in it, 5 cents of phosphorus, and 20 cents of iodine. Well, even at current high prices, no one's worth over $1.50.
Then you only value me at $1.50?
Never. You said worth. Your value is inestimable.
Hannibal, I like you. I like you very much. You make me feel important. You make me feel like dancing.
Splendid! What shall I play?
Anything.
I'm very good at Flight of the Bumblebee.
How appropriate. The bees come home and find the honey gone. Someone's going to be stung. Play, Hannibal.
interesting?
Very.
I'm not bothering you, am I?
Now what makes you think that? What's the matter, Fairy May?
Oh, nothing. It's just no one has said they loved me all day long.
Well, yes, they did. I heard them.
No, they haven't. I've been waiting.
Well, I heard Florence say at the dinner table.
She did?
Did I? Why, yes. She said, don't eat too fast, Fairy.
Was that saying she loved me?
Of course. People say it when they say, hurry back, or take an umbrella, it's raining, or even watch out, you'll break your neck. There are 100 ways of learning it. You just have to listen for it.
Well, my dentist said I had perfect occlusion. Was that saying that he loved me?
Of course. Why, when I first met my husband, I was riding horseback, and he said I had a good seat. I knew immediately that he loved me.
Oh, thank you. My dentist loves me. I've been missing so much.
Is there anything else you'd like me to clear up for you?
Oh, no. Thank you and forgive me.
Mrs. Savage.
Yes, Florence?
I'm trying to keep score and the boys won't help me. What's 7 and 5 and 4?
49.
But Mrs. Savage.
It's my own system, Hannibal. I refuse to submit to the tyranny of mathematics.
Then I win.
I'll keep score after this.
Mrs. Savage?
Yes, Fairy?
There is something else you could clear up for me. Why is it suddenly Sunday again when it was Sunday only yesterday?
What makes you think it's Sunday?
Because Sunday's Visitor's Day, and your family's coming to work today. I guess I had an awfully good time this week.
No, it's not Sunday, Fairy. My brood are coming back because they can't wait a week.
Well, doesn't that make you happy?
It should, but it doesn't.
Excuse me, but don't you like them?
Not at all.
Oh, that's a wicked thing to say.
Oh, sometimes we have to be wicked to get God's attention. But if it consoles you, Florence, they were not mine. My husband was left with 3 small children.
Oh, but you must have liked them when they were little.
Oh, I desperately wanted to make them my own, but they always resented me. As a matter of fact, the first time I put my arms around Lilybelle, she bit me. And she bit me every day until she was 10.
Didn't that make you high-strung?
What stopped at the exact age of 10?
I suppose at 10 a girl begins to consider her teeth.
But one of your daughters is a senator, isn't she? And she's quite famous?
That she is, make no mistake. I'm told she gets more threatening letters than any other person in Congress. I believe what Federal Express lists her as a tangible asset.
Well, if she's so unpopular, why do the voters keep sending her back?
They're no fools. They know it's the only way to keep her out of state.
Your son's a judge, isn't he?
That's a distinction.
He's made it one. He has the distinction of having more of his decisions reversed than any other man in jurisprudence.
Are either of your daughters pretty?
Well, there's a picture of Lilybelle in the paper. I'll show you and you can judge for yourself.
Oh, don't read us anything out of the paper.
Oh, I won't. I'm just going to show you her picture.
We don't look at pictures either.
People are always pinned under trucks.
Well, I'll look first to make sure it isn't horrible. Oh, she's a queen! She's wearing a crown!
Oh, a queen!
That's a tiara, Fairy. She got it when she was married to a Slavic prince.
Let's take a look, Hannibal, just to be polite.
Then she's a princess?
No, she discarded the prince a good 6 husbands ago.
Oh, but why?
Hell hath no music like a woman playing second fiddle.
The dress is rather low cut, isn't it?
I don't know when I've seen a prettier tiara.
Well, I don't like her. I think we should do something mean to her.
Why, Fairy?
Well, I don't mean really mean. Just something like say? Pinning your picture on the dartboard and throwing darts at it.
Fairy.
Why, Fairy, you're a sweet child. That's exactly what we'll do.
Oh, you wouldn't!
Yes, I would. I need exercise.
Fairy, you're an evil girl to think up such a thing.
Don't speak to me like that. Why, I'm sensitive.
Oh, leave her alone, Florence. I'm the culprit. Now, what can we pin it up with?
Mrs. Patty has some thumbtacks.
I am so disappointed in you, Fairy May.
Oh, I wish I died in my cradle.
Mrs. Patty, oh, that is the loveliest seascape I've ever seen. Do you know I can actually smell the ocean? I think your genius lies in your simplicity. You challenge the imagination. Can I borrow 4 thumbtacks?
Thank you. This is setting a very bad example for motherhood.
Oh, do stop worrying, Florence. Don't you like surprises?
Of course.
Well, I want to surprise Lilibelle. I'll tee off. Now, target for tonight. Oh, right in the tiara.
Bravo!
Something very bad's going to happen, and I know it. Everybody to the upstairs study. Mrs. Savage's visitors are here.
Oh, may I stay?
No, Fairy. The senator insisted on complete privacy. Run along now.
Someday when I'm ordered out, I'm going to go without saying a word. As much pride as anyone.
All the way upstairs now.
How's the weather out there?
Stormy. Savage, your visitors are here.
That will be all. You can wait outside.
I'll leave the latch off the door and wait at the hall desk.
I don't know what to say to you, Mother. For the life of me, I don't know what to say.
Polite people say good evening.
Reception is so unlike you.
I'm not angry, Mother. I'm just hurt.
Have you the faintest idea of what you've done? You've sold control of 15 Savage Industries.
We'll have to sell all our stock in Savage Brass just to buy it back.
Oh, didn't you find out?
I sold that first.
We're ruined.
Don't excite yourself now, Lilibelle. It rhymes.
What else? What else did you dispose of?
Everything in my name.
Where's the money? You couldn't have spent it.
Tell us what you did with it, dear.
I converted it into a neat little bundle of negotiable bonds and buried them.
When you say buried, you mean hidden, right?
I mean buried, as in funeral.
In the ground?
I feel physically ill.
Where is it buried?
Well, I forget.
Oh, Lord. Grant my mother one moment of clarity.
Where did you bury it? Concentrate.
Best thing in the world for taking lines out of the face, Lilibelle. Oh, I must do something about getting you a new eye. Do you know any place that sells bear's eyes, Lilibelle?
Oh, give me that stupid thing and answer us!
Oh, Miss Willie, help! Lilibelle, wait. You're just antagonizing her. We won't get anywhere fighting.
I'm sorry, Mother. Hold your bear. We forget that you are sick.
What we must make you understand, Mother, is that the money involved is not what concerns us as much as the disgrace of...
Ow! What happened? She bit me.
Nonsense. Whatever Mother might do, she wouldn't descend to biting.
Was a wasp.
Ever there was a wasp. It's the woman we call Mother. I know when I'm bitten. Teeth marks.
There's no need to raise your voice, Lilybell.
Does it hurt?
Of course it hurts!
Lilybell will get nowhere fighting among ourselves. Now stop it. We can't afford it.
You can't afford anything.
We simply refuse to be angry with you, Mother. Lilybell, apologize.
I will not.
Lilybell.
It's all right, Mother. Don't mind your biting me. Gnaw and mangle me to the bone. Gum me to your heart's content.
Only tell us what you did with our money.
My money. You've already had your share.
The estate is ours. It's been in the Savage family for generations.
8 generations.
It's unthinkable that you should be the first savage to be found wanting.
Found wanting what?
The savage pride. Now I want you to listen to what I have to say carefully. The estate has always been a sacred trust. We had never considered ourselves possessors of great fortune, but custodians of wealth.
Oh, don't do that. Just look. I simply ask you to look. She's been throwing darts at my picture.
What of it? That can't possibly hurt you.
It's a vicarious form of murdering someone. It's just the most vicious voodoo magic known to science.
We're losing ground.
We were fostered by a werewolf. Every savage son of us.
Mother, my patience is exhausted.
What have you done with the money? I told you I buried it. Where?
Unless you tell us at once, you're going to a public institution. We'll not tolerate this criminal waste.
With all the shouting, you've given me a headache. I can't remember a thing.
What do you mean you can't remember a thing? Of course you can't.
I can't. Oh, this is the worst headache I've ever had in my entire life.
We'd better be careful, Claudia.
Can we get something for you?
Yes. The only thing that helps are those pills I used to take.
Where are they?
I'm out of them.
We'll get more.
Will you?
Of course.
Here's my prescription number. It's from my druggist in Boston.
You mean drive all the way back to Boston?
Where is everyone?
Are you ill?
Claudia, let's get those pills and come back in the morning. We won't accomplish anything this evening.
Yes, I agree with you. You get the prescription filled.
Right. Get it filled, Samuel. As soon as I go home, I'm going straight to bed.
Are you prepared to tell us what you've done with the bonds in the morning?
Pound, pound, pound.
I'll tell the chauffeur we're ready.
Now, what got into him? Well, we'd better go. We'll be back first thing in the morning.
Pound, pound, pound.
Come, Lilybell. I'll have Dr. Emmett give her a setting.
Lilybell, psst.
What do you mean by psst?
I have something important to tell you about the bonds. Close the door. Well, I wanted to tell you, and you alone, what I did with them.
Why me?
Well, Claudia and Samuel are fools. If anything should happen to me overnight, the bonds will be lost.
It was they who wanted you here, not I. Tell me where they are.
Where would you hide $10 million if you didn't trust banks?
I don't know.
Under a rock?
Of course not.
Would you put them in your mattress? Well, of course, you're never far from your mattress.
But just supposing you were, and the house burned down.
Are you going to tell me or not?
Have you ever been to the Museum of Natural History?
No.
It's very educational and fireproof.
Mother, please.
Well, do you know what's on the 3rd floor of the museum?
How could I?
The Department of Ichthyology.
What are you talking about?
Fish. In the last room on the 3rd floor, hanging from 2 wires, is a big, dusty porpoise.
Well?
Well, I stuffed my bonds in that stuffed fish when no one was looking.
I don't believe you.
Name me a safer place.
Only a fool would do such a thing.
Well, that's me.
How do you get a package of bonds inside a stuffed porpoise?
Easy. A razor blade and some scotch tape.
How do I know you're telling me the truth?
Well, there's a simple way to find out.
You must think I'm very gullible. I have no intention of hunting inside a stuffed fish.
Lilybell, are we to hold the car for you all night? Samuel is honking.
Let him honk.
Claudia?
Yes?
Kiss me goodbye.
You bet, Lilybell. I don't trust you.
Well, that's ironical, because I trust you. I was just about to tell you where the bonds are.
Surely you know that I didn't want you here. I listened to Lilybell.
Will you get me out of here, then let me alone?
Oh, you know I will, darling.
Okay. The bonds are in a tin box.
Where?
Do you remember when I went to Washington with a group from Actors Equity?
No.
Well, I do. It was National Ethel Week. We all had lunch with the First Lady. Oh, let's see. There was Ethel Barrymore, Ethel Merman, Ethel Waters, Ethel...
What are you talking about?
My bonds are buried in the President's greenhouse.
I don't believe you.
Well, you didn't believe Pearl Harbor until you investigated.
Why would you choose such a public place? Everybody in and out.
Well, I'm not very bright.
I'm the only woman who can't get into the White House.
Well, you should agree to the President oftener.
How do I know you didn't imagine this?
Well, there's a simple way to find out. Dig.
Oh, no. I'm not falling into that trap. You didn't bury the box there.
In the corner, under the petunias.
Claudia, unless you hurry, Samuel intends to leave without us.
I'm coming. I refuse to believe you.
We listened. We're horrible. We are so ashamed. We all wish we were dead.
We wanted to stop listening and sneak away, but we couldn't without making too much noise.
Oh, it's quite all right. It's no secret. If you read the papers, you'd know.
Did you really hide all that money?
Indeed I did, for my memorial fund.
And now you're going to give it back? You're very generous for your size and weight.
But you didn't tell the judge where his share was.
Oh, that prescription was really a note saying to dig under the chimney.
Well, why did you hide it if you were going to tell them where it was in the first place?
What makes you think I did?
We heard you.
Foolish I am, but not that foolish. Whatever's stuck under the chimney, or under the President's petunias, or even in that stuffed fish, I can assure you it's not my little bundle of bonds.
Then why did you say they were?
I wanted to see to what extent they would make fools of themselves.
Oh, nothing makes the truth so shabby as a magnificent lie. How splendid.
But how can you be sure they'll believe you?
They want to believe me.
They might consider it degrading to go out digging.
But they will.
But how can you be sure?
There are a million things a man won't do for $5. But there aren't 5 things a man won't do for $1 million. They'll dig.